I've been sitting on this for quite some time now. No one has really been brave enough to ask this question, so I'm just going to do it myself. Is Ot Starva stupid? I know the comments are already about to explode and say, he's the best player, he's super knowledgeable, he has over 10k hours. And that's exactly my point. Why this is even more concerning in reality, there's just something very, very off about this guy. I don't think he understands how the game plays out for the majority of people, as opposed to the behavior fan club at the highest MMR. I don't think this guy understands humanity at all either. I mean, if you pay close attention in his videos, he operates with this sense of efficiency that I just don't think a human person could possibly ever replicate. Now, I don't want to make any accusations, but he could potentially be using some sort of algorithm or AI to tell him what to do, similar to how Hans Niemann cheated against Magnus Carlsen. But this algorithm may actually exist inside his brain. We might have to plug a USB into his mind to figure out what's going on in there. Look, playing this game solo queue as Survivor is like being in an escape room with 3 goldfish trying to operate a forklift, and Otz is over here talking about shoulder the burden. I've never used that fucking perk in my life, and he's gonna say this perk is actually super strong and that's banned in competitive, because if all 4 survivors coordinate and connect their minds using Neuralink, that it's gonna be overpowered. What is even the logic here? This is how Survivor games actually go, by the way. You'll spawn in, you'll get on a generator, and then you have one teammate crouch walking everywhere doing nothing at all. You have one going on a fucking expedition to cleanse all of the totems for some reason, and the other one is rummaging through every chest on the map to satiate their endless hunger and desire to hoard even more items like their fucking Pokemon cards. By the time I've been hooked, we're still going to be at 5 gens, and I'm just wondering, why have we now started a union against the entity? Are we on a strike against doing the generators? I don't understand. Do we want higher wage? I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, but if we rotate pressure and attack the gents in this particular order, whatever, man. What the fuck do you mean rotate? Survivors in this game barely know how to rotate the camera, let alone rotating pressure or whatever that means. That's probably just a made up term anyways. And these people suck in chase too. I constantly see people running into walls or just being so ridiculously inefficient with looping that I could probably play with my feet and still do better than most of them. Oh, but this is for high MMR, this assumes coordinated teams, optimal macro microplay, perfect efficiency. Bro, my teammates think that generators are optional. They also think playing the game that they pay $20 for is optional too, because they disconnect the moment anything goes wrong. I can never tell if these people are genuinely like this, or if this entire game is just one large social experiment designed to be as frustrating as possible. Oh, this tile is survivor-sided, this tile is easy to greed. Tell that to the huntress who hit me through a motherfucking tree, okay? Odd says this, Odd said that. Honestly, I have reason to believe, after looking at some classified internal documentation from behavior, that Ot Starva may have been created as a secret project in one of their laboratories to essentially be a mech that they could pilot. I theorize that this mech was created by combining a PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch consoles, similarly to how Jeff Kaplan was able to create Aaron Keller. If you solo queue one time, you'll see your teammates making decisions that belong in a fucking museum as abstract art. I feel like Jack's digital circus when I play this game. I may very well be the next abstraction. I think if we had a psychologist or someone analyze the Dead by Daylight community, we'd probably have to be amended into the fucking Geneva Convention. Ot Starva isn't actually stupid though if you think about it. He's actually very, very intelligent compared to most of the killer population. But he operates on this very flawed assumption that everyone on both sides can play correctly, when in reality, 99% of people aren't close to that at all. Most people don't understand the game like that, and if you're balancing the game for the 1% and not the 99%, there's a very large disconnect happening here. But he's never going to understand this fully, because no matter what, he could solo queue 12 hours straight perkless with just no mitter or something, and he'd still absolutely dominate, because the skill that he's at is just too high for anyone to stand a chance. I mean, out of anyone that plays Survivor, he has the best odds of sacrificing the killer to the entity instead. By this point though, I'm convinced that he believes that downloading Dead by Daylight is bundled in with also downloading 3 friends. Now, I speak on behalf of the majority of the Survivor community when I say none of us have any friends at all. And if we did, Why would we want to be friends with another sweaty loser that plays this awful fucking game just for the sake of us sweating together, only to be tortured by a perkless trapper doing 20 push-ups between every hook? Ot Starva might not actually know what Survivor gameplay looks like. I'm very convinced by this point after checking with some of my internal sources that he very well may be part of a very secretive group at the top of the DBD community that has essentially developed the equivalent of Stockfish for Dead by Daylight, and they're likely simulating thousands of games to determine what is the most powerful under perfect circumstances. Now, this is completely ridiculous and fails to acknowledge the reality of the human element of the game. It's like if I had a bunch of aimbot AIs in a Call of Duty lobby, and then I acted surprised when everyone is shooting with 100% accuracy. Look, just because one of my teammates has brought in Prove Thyself, that doesn't mean they have fucking credentials in project management. It's a step up though. I'd much rather my teammates run perks that activate passively and stuff they have to consciously use their brain to think about, because sometimes I feel like I could ask Chop from GTA 5 to play this game, and he would do better than these people. If Ot Starva can run Shoulder the Burden at its like full effectiveness for 8 hours in solo queue and still tell me it's overpowered, then I might be inclined to believe it. That's never going to happen. If anything, it should be buffed. Instead of transferring hook states, it just clears the hook state entirely, and then clears the game off your fucking hard drive. The issue inherently, though, is that Ot Starva is just too powerful with his hours advantage. You know, Quiet Kills is menacing enough, but this guy's on another level, to the point that I'm beginning to speculate he could be an AI himself. I'm not talking about the singularity, I'm talking about the singularity. If you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Everyone these days gets their information from an AI in some way. If Ot Starva makes informational content, then by extension, he must also be an AI. His knowledge of this game is so expansive that it's unrealistic. At 1500 hours, I don't read perk descriptions, none of the add-on or item descriptions. I just Google what the current meta builds are and let Google AI tell me what to do. It's just the fact that the average survivor when loading in will see the killer, and the first thought is to run away or pre-run. But Ot Starva somehow is able to know all 4 of the killer's perks immediately. The add-ons, he probably has a specific list of people who could be playing that killer in his mind already forming. He's basically like Hikaru, seeing 30 moves ahead and deciding that he's already won the match. So rather than Ot Starva being stupid, he's so intelligent and capable and overpowered to the point that his logic and sense of reasoning seems incredibly dumb to us normies. So in conclusion, I think we as a community need to keep our eyes on Ot Starva to ensure he doesn't destroy the game. He has become an unstoppable force in the world of Dead by Daylight, but perhaps this message can be a warning to all for what I believe is becoming an increasingly threatening power creeping into the core design of the game. To my fellow Survivor mains out there, emotionally speaking, I'm on your side. Logistically speaking, we are fucked.